The reason the list of things you want to learn, do, or get better at gets longer isn't because you don't have time for it. It's because that time keeps going into consuming everybody else's life instead of living your own. So today, I want to talk about why it happens, why it's harder than ever to avoid it, and what it actually looks like to close that gap and start to do the things and pursue the things that you actually want to do, and slowly, one by one, start crossing those things off the list. Let's just start with the basics. If you check what is your screen time, it might be a lot of time. Like for me this week is almost 3 hours, 2 hours, 47 minutes. Last week, it was 4 hours, 24 minutes. So it's 4.5 hours a day on average that I would be on my phone, regardless of whether it's work related or not, or am I like making content or doing something that is kind of productive. It's still a lot of time to be spent on the phone. And that is just phone alone. That's not counting laptop, TV, none of it. So now, even if it was half of that time, let's say 4.5 hours, we take like 2 hours and a bit every day that you could spend towards doing something or working on something or developing something, that's a lot of time. And all that time, it does add up. It's literally like we live in this environment where our default of what to do is to sit on the phone instead of doing something else. Like if you're on a bus, you're on the phone. If you're standing in the queue, you're on the phone. If you're sitting in a cafe, you're on the phone. If you're around your family, a lot of times you're still on the phone. If you have a free evening, you might watch a movie or sit on your phone. It's not even a decision that you make anymore. It's like a default that you go to. It's just what you do. And I'm not saying it as in that's just what you do. I'm also doing the same thing. And if you try to take that time away, even for a day where you don't sit on your phone, you don't check your phone, you don't scroll, it's actually going to feel very, very uncomfortable. That's what I had. I had a 21-day challenge that I did where every day I would be offline for pretty much the whole day until 8 p.m. So there was no podcasts, no music, no social media scrolling. The only place that I would be only like work related, where I would be kind of either I would go online when I have to post something, or I would be like getting some activity on LinkedIn, but that's it. And I spent a lot of time bored. It was quite hard at the beginning because when I'm on a bus, I naturally want to check my phone. I can't check it now. I literally started to read book on a bus. That was my go-to. So every time I would just like, okay, initially I did nothing, and then I started to read a book. Sometimes I would notice that I'm going on a walk and I want to listen to something. And initially it was very uncomfortable, but then once I stopped, I actually enjoyed that time that I would have to be with my thoughts. And I realized during that challenge that I missed being bored, but also just having time and space to just think and just be. There was nothing to fill it with, but the beginning, it's very, very uncomfortable because of how used we are to having this constant dopamine hit or just checking the phone. What if this person messaged me? What if I got his notification? How many likes did I get? So we get so used to that like stimulus that it literally becomes our default of what we do. We always have phone in our hands and we don't even question it. And the moment you put it away, it's like your brain doesn't know what to do with that silence. And also, if you are somebody who is consuming self-development content, or a lot of your algorithm or feed is filled with all this growth, development, getting better, business, and all those things, like all those topics, consuming it actually might not necessarily feel in the moment like you're wasting your time. It actually feels like growth. You watch a video, you feel inspired. You also feel like you have learned something. You might even get some insights or some understandings. And in that moment, as you consume it, it genuinely feels good. But if none of it actually gets translated to real life, or you actually do something or you take some action, you might as well could have watched a movie and entertained yourself. Because what actually happened is that you consumed something, you didn't necessarily grow from it, because the growth happens in the actions. And it's this weird loop that you can get in. I have been in that loop so many times, and I still need to be very mindful to catch myself when I get into it. That's how good it is, where you consume the content and it feels like you're progressing, but you're actually not progressing. So it's kind of like you get this sense of progress without actually progressing. And especially without putting in the work, being in the discomfort and having to face the the feelings or emotions that you might not want to face or feel as you step outside of your comfort zone and you actually take the actions and steps that you need to take. So you feel like you are becoming a better version, but what actually is happening is that you're just learning what a better version of you could look like. And this actually can show up in your relationships or dating life as well. Because I think that a lot of times now I see that we want to have this perfect person who has their own life. They have their things going on. They have hobbies. They have skills. They are emotionally intelligent, all these things. While all we bring to the table is, oh, I read about this thing and I watched this video instead of I went and did this thing, I worked on this, I took this step, I went to this class, I started this course, I started this business. That's actually what is making you interesting. Is not what you consume, it's not what you know, it's what you live, what you do, and who you are. And the more of life you live, the more of experiences you have, the more of the skills you build, the more interesting you become, and the more you can add to the relationship. And that applies not just relationships, it applies to your own life. You need to actually live life. You need to take action, try things, and have experiences because that's what makes you who you are. That's what builds you. That's what develops you. That's what helps you to learn more about yourself and explore yourself more deeply. Not the version of yourself that you get from watching other people live their lives. I mean, I'm no immune to any of this. I have I have saved plenty of recipes that I want to try. I have plenty of hobbies that I want to do. I have plenty of places that I want to go and things I want to try. So I'm not immune to this. I'm very much so in the same boat. And that's partly why I make this video, because it's a reminder to myself as well to go and have experiences, go and do things. And I definitely have noticed that in the last couple of years, I have become much more proactive with trying new things, getting out of comfort zone, actually going and doing something instead of sitting in four walls and thinking about what do I want to do with my life? What is my purpose? And who do I want to be? If there's something that I find interesting or I think I might want to explore, instead of thinking about it, I will go find, sign up, show up, and just see. Is that something that I want to do? Is this something that I like? And through those experiences, I actually learn more about myself and I become more interesting as a person. It's like I explore more angles of myself and I get to know myself more deeply instead of just living in assumptions about what I think I am, what I'm not, what my life is meant to be, or who I am meant to be, or who I am. It's that journey through, instead of looking or consuming other people's lives, I'm actually participating in mine. So be mindful about consuming the content, saving all the things that you want to do, and also comparing yourself with others, because the more of this you will do, the bigger the gap might feel of what you want to tackle or what you want to do. And be mindful also that it's probably going to be more messy and more uncomfortable, might not feel as good in the moment as you might anticipate. And that's normal. That's life. It's you stepping out of your comfort zone. It's something that I still feel on a constant basis, which for me, actually, the more comfortable I feel, the more uncomfortable I am, because I am aware that, oh, now I'm comfortable. I'm not growing. I'm actually staying the same, if not moving backwards. I'm just sitting in my little comfort bubble. And the moment I start to feel a bit like uncomfortable or maybe anxious about some experiences or starting some new things, that's where I know that, oh, this is where I grow now. I'm stepping into that zone of growth, development, and exploring more of myself and in general, just living more. So go and do something. You might even go back to your phone, look at the things that you have saved, some posts or some notes, and look if there's something that you can find that you could go and do or try or create. Because the more you consume and the less you do, the more you actually can end up losing yourself in this whole consumption, because you don't actually go and live and learn who you are, what is for you, what's not for you, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy through lived experience. So here's what I want you to do. Go to your phone or to your notes or to your notebook, wherever you gather your ideas, whichever is your place of choice, and find something that you could start in the next 24 hours. And then go and do it. And let me know below, what was the thing What did you go and do? And what was the experience like?